Hail, beloved lightworkers! I am Archangel Michael, indeed, and would like you to join me in an exercise in which you can use your third eye vision as a sacred tool, not only to establish a relationship with the beloved presence of God in you, but also cultivate one with your higher selves, one of the latter being the celestial counterpart of your twin flame. The effect of coming into closer contact with your inner soul family is very enjoyable. The sacred tool that can be used is the electronic fire ring, that we call a solar ring, because it does originate from the great central sun, although there are vast sources and reservoirs of this power within the solar system in this galaxy, just as in the case of the sacred fire and violet flame. You might not obtain the results you wished for straight away, but if you use this video to practice the solar ring and tube of light a little at a time, you will discover that you are gaining a sensitivity to the light, that you actually get a stronger perception of the electronic presence, and that it takes place as soon as you imagine it in your mind's eyes. This tube of light will be manifested upon the platform of the solar ring. What you feel or experience when you use these sacred tools may be difficult to describe, as the terminology of this world hardly includes words for something that belongs to the higher dimensions. It will be accompanied by a sense of well-being, of love and of bliss. It is a supernatural experience. The solar ring may be visualized around yourself as well as other light workers, and you may wish or request that it be drawn around some members of your family, as well as people you are connected with on the internet. This will attract an alchemical action which will bring about changes related to protection, healing, the awakening, and other conditions related to the ascension. Bear in mind that this should be done to manifest the will of God, not for anything that the ego may wish. But it's easy. Just enter into the practice with the intention that you only want the will of God, and it doesn't matter if you forget to think about this later. If you wish to have the solar ring drawn around the light workers, or light bearers, for some kind of assistance, the angels will decide if they are suitable. Leave the final decision to the angels as to whether someone is best suited to receive the solar ring. Just having heard this now will be sufficient. It will be stored in your subconscious mind. The solar ring is comparable to a wedding ring as it ties you to the personal and universal Christ consciousness, that blueprint, power, and presence which mediates between the incarnated soul and the loving I Am presence, the Father Mother God, Elohim. If you feel an aspiration that is spiritual and mystical, if you desire to manifest God's will and to take action to precipitate heaven upon earth, you may secure and increase your tie with all of heaven with this exercise of the third eye, as the solar ring will bind you in the purity of the Christ consciousness with the great central sun. An arc of contact will be manifested between your heart and that of the Lord God Almighty. You have a threefold flame within the sacred chamber of your heart chakra. Visualize it as magnified, so be aware of its existence at the start of the exercise and visualize its burning entwined plumes which appear as blue, pink, and gold. The action of the great central sun magnet can remove the veils of miscreation and transmute karma. The images that you will visualize can be used for the elimination of unwanted conditions and for your progress upon the path of ascension. This is also a sacred tool provided by the Ascended Masters in previous decades for a time of great turmoil, and Armageddon of the psyche. The solar ring comes to you with the dual action of the twin pillars of consciousness of Alpha and Omega, the Elohim in their divine complements, the archangels in their divine complements, the Ascended Masters and their ladies, as well as your own twin flame. They descend and envelop you in this dual vibration of light and love. The solar ring really is a beautiful consecration ring, and the persona that you are can be refined by the iridescent fires of the Christ consciousness and the violet flame. It also needs to be saturated in the light and vibration of the other rays of God's light, which the archangels and masters of the Great White Brotherhood can bring to your heart, soul, and mind. Your higher selves will then take greater hold of your life, be in action in you. You will have to imagine that this light and violet flame penetrates every cell and atom of your being, and that it saturates you to the point that all causes, effects, records and memory, or conditions, manifestations, that are less than this Christ consciousness have vanished, that you are being healed. And by the way, this is the light body which could be called Buddhic consciousness. It doesn't matter which spiritual or religious exemplar is chosen to represent it. This visualization will have an uplifting effect for a few seconds or minutes, as if you had physically been lifted up by balloons. It disappears when you return to your mental activities. In this work of ascension you are a spiritual soldier, a knight or lady, in shining armor. You also are being fitted with the garment suit of ascension which is solar in nature. It is the nature of angels, isn't it? And you will be physical angels. Your DNA has been prepared. The molecular structure has been transformed to crystalline. Your chakras have been worked on and you now have additional ones, but a certain connection of these chakras is not to be activated yet. You have been provided with the equipment for a later quantum leap and for physicality upon a higher dimension. In the meantime we are progressing towards the opening of another portal of ascension for a next phase. You may go through it and return with greater capabilities, including an increase of power to manifest desired changes in your reality. So this exercise of the third eye is beneficial at this time, in preparation for this magical time, when you will be able to heal, rejuvenate and precipitate conditions in a much faster way than ever before. We are penetrating deeper and in an accelerated way into the period of disclosure and of transition. The drawing of the solar ring can also be done in your mind around projects and cities, as well as nations. It will result with an awakening. The solar ring can protect the nations and be a guide to them, just as the pillar of light was described to be guiding the Israelites during their exodus with the biblical Moses, although it was not made clear that what was described by the redactor was perceived by psychic ability, or heard by telepathy. Everything is becoming clear, isn't it? You could practice the solar ring and tube of light visualizations as soon as you have gone to bed, or in bed before getting up, if you have time to do so, or as you prefer, perhaps seated in meditation like the Master Buddha. You could do this silently, or in the power of the spoken word. This is the kind of prayer, or call, you may make for these sacred tools. Christine, I am now raising my thoughts towards you, my own loving mighty I Am Presence, Father, Mother, God in heaven and Elohim. I enjoy feeling your light and love descending and sealing me as a shaft of light to enlarge the spectrum of my consciousness, as well as protect me. By the flame that you have given me within my heart, I do now ask you to help me to draw, with the power of my third eye vision, a solar ring around myself, the members of my family, my friends, and all souls that I am karmically tied to, my entire soul family, as well as all light workers, including those involved in the activities of the Ascended Masters. I am drawing the solar ring to form a force field of light around their households and projects, as well as my own, to manifest a beautiful destiny for the creation of new Gaia. Beloved I Am Presence, in the name I Am that I Am, I now call forth from you the tube of light. Let it be an invincible armor that protects me and all of us from any human energy, as well as astral attacks, or any such attacks using technology of a known or unknown nature. Let the solar ring together with the dual action of the twin consciousness be the platform for the tube of light, the substance of which I sense and I feel, as I keep my thoughts focused upon you, and let it be reinforced at all times. My mighty I Am Presence, by the magnetic power of the sacred fire in my heart, I now invoke the violet flame of Saint Germain, as well as mighty Arcturus and Archangel Zadkiel and Amethyst. I request that it may transmute returning karma and purify the elements of the material world, remove their pollution. I call for the solutions to our personal and global problems. Blaze this violet flame into all darkness. May it help us raise ourselves according to your divine plan. May it change every negative condition, cause, effect, record and memory, into the positive polarity that will permit destiny to manifest according to your will. And with this may the world be permeated with the peace of the ascended Jesus Christ, the Universal Mother, and the peace so desired by Archangel Michael as it is part of his prophecy for the earth. I call for the protection of Archangel Michael and legions of the blue ray. I accept this in full faith. I accept this done today. It is done God's way. It is done to stay. Let it be done God's way, and I am in gratitude for this wonderful tool of the light that the Masters have given us. Archangel Michael, your I Am presence may it speak to you, and because of the vibration, or character of the electronic presence you will experience, there will be no doubt in your mind as to the origin of the communication if you are able to hear it. You will notice a certain authority, but also loving care and wisdom. At the end of the call and visualization, it is important to state that you are grateful for this release of assistance from God's own heart, and that you accept in full faith that it will manifest. It may still be a mystery to some of you what is the connection between the EM presence, the higher selves, and the soul incarnation. For this I must bring back to you the story that the I Am presences created higher souls, but limited their creation to 12 souls each. In other words, 12 higher selves. From these higher selves 12 soul extensions were projected into incarnation. So there could be as much as 144 soul extensions for each I Am. In the course of time and progression of evolution, some extensions were recalled or may have ascended. Therefore there may not be 12 extensions of the higher selves in embodiment at any given time, and some among the original 12 may have existed upon other worlds, in higher dimensions, and be looking after you from their plasma crafts or biospheres, and you may be a starseed who had these kind of cousins on Earth. You have a direct connection with your I Am presence, and there is interconnectedness at the level of the Universal Christ, so this helps you to understand your soul family but loses importance at higher level as we are all one. It is quite a common practice that an ascended twin flame, or the divine complement of one's higher self, receives the assignment of acting as a guardian angel, as well as mentor for the soul in embodiment. This only touches briefly on an aspect relating to the events of today, and the reunion of twin flames if they are not incarnated at the same time. The magnetic force between twin flames has been strategically used in the ascension process, to lift up the incarnated twin flame from the material dimension. The twin that has ascended has sometimes stood on the other side of the bank of the river of life to nullify the influence or attraction of matter for the twin flame in embodiment, but in this ascension the objective is different than in past ages. The emphasis now is on ascension during one's lifetime now, so the ascended twin flame's work is very much to do with an integration, a raising of vibrations, the manifestation of a new reality and the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven on earth. This sacred relationship, the encounter of the inner type, does not interfere in any way with the destiny and physicality of those souls who are in relationship with their soulmates or karmic ties. I am Archangel Michael, and continue to give you my protection, as far as the horizon of your reality is taking you and all of us. Channel, Christine Preston.